9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begin.
Get ready for the show, it's about to begin. Pro fan talk when we dive right in. Sports talk, hot takes, ain't nothing we lack. We the real fans, nothing holding us back. Mic check, 1, 2, y'all know the drill. We bringing the energy, we keep it real. From touchdowns to liquid air on the slam dunks on the court. Every sport, every game, we holding down the fort. We breaking down the plays, dissecting the stats. Pro fan talk, we keeping it fat. Debating with passion, no filter, no doubt. We the voice of the fans, we scream and we shout.
What's going on, folks? What's good? What's up, Carlos? Watching this boring-ass game on Thursday. Seahawks is up 20-6. Cardinals are trying to do something, and the Cardinals just look lifeless. They just look lifeless. 19 for 30, 119 yards for Kyler Murray. Are we including all of the drops by Marvin Harrison Jr.? You talking about a draft pick that's turning into a bust. That kid has got the yips, something awful. He dropping balls that's hitting him in the hands. You ain't supposed to do that when you a first round draft pick. They looking at going to anywhere else but him. Man, this is a snooze fest right there. That's your best player right there, the tight end. The tight end for the Cardinals. He's their best player. He got it up in there. Yeah, Carlos, this game is trash. I thought it was a WNBA game tonight, but they all play tomorrow. Yeah, this is a rough watch, man. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see that, but I don't know what was said, but somebody in his head, man. Because that's not the kid that came from Ohio State. That's for damn sure. Not even close. But this game has been boring. You getting waxed by Sam Darnold. Let's just put it there. You getting beat by Sam Darnold. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but this is this is not good for Amazon's viewership. That's for sure. I should have tried to watch this on my Oculus. I still got my 3D Oculus thing. And I know Amazon comes on that. I wonder if I could have watched this game. Because I watched the game with the Amazon Prime with all of the graphics, the next gen stats graphics. Oh, come on. Well, Kyler Murray just looking like they can't do, like he tried to escape and ended up running into his guard. Because the guard was stuffed in the pocket. Like he literally had nowhere to go. They are looking trash. Who's that down there? Rich Gannon? Not Rich Gannon, but who's the coach? Our former coach down there now? The defensive dude? He ran, sure did. He ran into his guard. Yeah, let's see what Marvin Harrison doing down at in the slot. Oh, there it is. Did he catch it? He did. He did, man. He trying to have a T.O. moment. Y'all remember that game when T.O. was with the 49ers and he dropped all them passes? And then Steve Young hit him for the end of the game in the end zone and he finally caught it. Good catch, too. Did it bounce? Did it hit the ground? They're going to try to say it hit the ground? Nah, he had it. He had that. Got to come up with that. They got a shot. I was about to say, did they miss the extra point? Yeah, Jonathan Gannon out there. They on the struggle bus. They are on the struggle bus. Marvin Harrison. So that just took him up to 144. Once again, Once again, we talking about all these starting quarterbacks. You ain't got to look at Kyler Murray because they look at Kyler Murray like they look at Jalen Hurts. He's too small, not good at throwing the ball. Sam Darnold, 6'3", 6'4", supposed to be able to sling the ball all around. He only got 184 yards. Kyler Murray got one touchdown, 2 picks, but in my opinion, both those picks weren't his fault. Yeah, he needed that one, and absolutely, he definitely needed that one. He definitely needed that one, man. So, heck, man, let me be honest with you. I ain't really got much to talk about because everybody in the hospital, everybody we need to talk about hurt. They in the ER, on the IR. Oh my God, all of that kind of stuff, man. All of that, all of these injuries. Although I did get some good news, did get kind of uplifting news. I don't even know is because N'Kobe Dean is he's scheduled to come back in week 5, right? I texted him today. I just texted him today and I said week 5 loading, and I got an animated GIF of like the little computer loading thing, and he hit me back like, yes, sir. So hopefully N'Kobe will be back on the field next week, at the very least, like maybe week 6. You know what I mean? So especially when you're looking at Jihad and Zach Bond walking around with that big ass knee brace, and then Jihad Campbell's hurt too. So we need N'Kobe back in the worst way, and that'll bolster up the run defense. So he working hard to get back. I know he got the grind down and trying to get it done. Yep, Zach, Adore, Jihad. Yeah, man. It was damn mass unit today. That's for sure. It's crazy. They showing a replay of the catch. He high pointed it. He went up and got it. Came down with it. That's what you need to do. That's why they're paying you the big bucks. That's why they're paying you the big bucks. Yeah, that was good for your confidence, bro, because you dropped some easy ones today. Yeah, the knee brace with Zach Ball was probably just precautionary. Maybe he tweaked something. I don't know. Well, there's nothing to know. You don't wear a knee brace unless something's wrong. So he's probably just doing it for stabilization, just in case, so nobody catches him the wrong way, something like that. So that's not anything out of the ordinary, to be honest with you. But it was just kind of shocking seeing that knee brace. Everybody was going over like, look at the size of that knee brace, and it's like, you know what? They taking every precaution. They're not taking any chances, and that's what they're supposed to do. That's what they're supposed to do because we are about to end the first quarter of the season. I know it don't seem like it, but the first quarter of the season is about done. So when you get to about week 7 through 9, that's when all of the injuries really start hitting. Because now you in mid-season form, and the wear and tear on them tires and those expiration dates pop into play real quick. Yeah, Chris, I was thinking the same thing, man. Why we always hurt when we play in the Bucs? I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I don't know. I can't answer that question. Before I forget, I'm dropping the link now. Before I forget, because I was listening to Big Hugh, and you know what? I got to send a message out to Big Hugh. I'm efforting to get Big Hugh on the show, Hugh Douglas, because he was talking about some things today on the radio, and like I said, it would be last week the big the big conversation on WIP this week. I haven't really listened to 97.5, so but the big thing with WIP is, how are they calling the offense going down to Tampa? Are they going to call like the second half, or are they going to go more conservative? Now, we've had some people on both sides of it. Some people say that there's no way they can call it like it was in the first half of last game. And one of my friends, one of my teammates, Brian Baldinger, who knows his NFL stuff, love Baldy, watch Baldy's channel because Baldy watches film. But he said it wouldn't surprise him if the Eagles go back to being conservative again. Because the one thing you can't argue with is they win in that way. So I hope they don't do that. But it wouldn't surprise me if they did. It all depends on what we do against the Bucs. It all depends on what we do against the Bucs, man. So I hope they don't go conservative again, but I wanted to see them let them rip. But everybody says that now because eventually, sometime I'm hoping that Jalen can set another record, most games without an interception and all of that kind of stuff. That would be phenomenal because when we don't turn the ball over, we have a phenomenal record. But we've got to figure out, this is going to play itself out on Sunday. We got to figure out what I guess series of plays, or it's not even that. It's all about how you attack it. Do you want to do you want to attack the edges? Do you want to attack the middle, short middle, mid middle, deep middle zone? Do you want to make that linebacker go Tampa 2 right back down in the middle of the field and cover something? I think we are in a situation now where you have to use the pass to set up the run because everybody gets Saquon bottled up. Now, half of the situation with Saquon is because the offensive line is not quite up to snuff yet. So they got to get that worked out. And they're going up against Vita Vea this week. And them boys, if they don't want to move, they ain't moving. So we really gotta spread the defense out this time because we're gonna have to create some gaps. And Saquon is probably gonna have another rough game because Todd Bowles has our number. But we'll see. We'll see. That's why they got to play the game. What's up, Chris?
What they do, Coach? What they do?
Not much, man. Trying to figure out what we gonna look like this week.
Man, boy, you spot on, man. I haven't seen I know it's across the league, guys get hurt, it's the nature of the game, but man, from Sunday to today, just the injury report, man, throughout the week at practice, man, Zach, Jihad, Adoree, key guys, what I'm saying, a little nicked up. So hopefully Sunday we can have Lane from last week. I don't know if they still made an official report. Well, they like to keep a lot of the injuries kind of close to the vest too. So just hoping.
I don't think Lane's was that bad. I think Lane's had a stinger.
He had a stinger, yeah. It was a neck, and they probably, took precaution, which was, the smart thing to do. I know Landon is still probably not 100% because he ain't really been himself first 3 games. So hopefully they can get round in the form. But there's a couple things last night. You was talking about I wasn't able to get on because my little connection was tripping, but I'm back. The CJ thing, man, about, obviously with him being released. Here's my thing on that. Obviously, defensively, I like what we got at the safety position. I think Makuba, Reed, I think even Sidney made a key play on that 4th down stop. I kind of watched the all 22. That 4th down stop that we had on the Rams in the second half, he kind of, was key in that in the way he was able to shoot down on the line of scrimmage. So I think the safety position is, we pretty solid there. But I will say, for all his antics and whatnot, all I can go off of is he was here for 2 years in Philly, and we were in the Super Bowl with good defenses both years, and he had 6 INTs both stints when he was here. Now, I don't know if that's obviously worth the risk of, potentially upsetting the locker room, whatever chemistry that they got, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I don't know. There was stuff about his relationship with Vic not being the best, or his relationship with Christian Parker not being the best, the DB coach. But listen, man, I said it in the chat yesterday. I wrote it. I'm like, even the Warriors had Draymond. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, MJ Bulls had Dennis Rodman for the second part of the three-peat. You know what I'm saying? It just, to me, obviously, first things first, you got to make sure guys are, obviously in line and do what they need to do is from the team perspective. You don't want, obviously, we already been dealing with what Jalen Carter's been doing, so far this year. But I will say, if somehow, some way, there was a way to get him bottled up as best as possible, I wouldn't mind having that dude back. Because all I know is when he's been in Philly, the dude's been productive, man. And I know he ain't the
Yeah,
best
you can't.
personality, but hey,
Here's
coach.
the problem.
Uh-huh.
Here's the problem. Howie could have signed him,
He could have.
and he could have signed him for not a lot of money,
Right.
and he let him walk.
True.
And everything that happened in Houston proves he was right.
Right.
Because D'Amico Ryans, young coach, defensive-minded coach,
Yep.
and he let him walk.
Sure did.
He didn't ask for a trade. He let him walk. So what that tells me is, listen, this ain't getting no better, so we gonna nip this in the bud right now.
Yeah.
We're not fielding any trade offers because that's just gonna take longer. I gotta cut the head off the snake. Not now, but right now.
Yeah.
So whatever was going on, and I got a Twitter buddy who's in Houston, and he was the first person I hit up. And I was like, what are you hearing on the radio down there in Houston? And he said, I'd heard the stuff about not liking his role and wishing he could do more blitzing and all that kind of stuff. I had heard all of that. What I didn't hear was, and this is what my man told me, he said it was getting out that him and CJ Stroud was not seeing eye to eye. And I said, now, you know it's a problem if you messing with the franchise.
Right.
So, but that could be true or not. I don't know. However, I will say this. You got two coaches that put up with a lot and they let them walk.
Right.
So I got to take that into consideration. And as of right now, I'm good at safety. We need a cornerback. We don't need a safety.
No, I got you for sure.
So I'm like, nah. If Makuba goes down or something like that, and we get more injuries in the secondary, then we might have to revisit that conversation. But as of right now, I'm good with Sidney Brown and Makuba. I'm good with Reed and Quignon and Coop back there. Ain't no reason to mess it up. If he ain't playing seat cornerback,
He's sure not.
We right back to Keely Ringo.
Yeah.
My man Keely Ringo. So I know Vic has some nice things to say about him this week. About, he's gotten better since camp ended.
Yeah.
We're gonna find out. So it can't be any worse than what it was in camp, and it can't be any worse than what Adoree Jackson did a couple times. However, I will say this: Adoree Jackson didn't look bad that last game.
No.
He didn't look great, but he damn sure didn't look bad as he did in week one.
Yeah, he was getting turned around in week one all over the place.
Yeah, so things were just settling down, and then it sucks because the injuries come in, and it's almost like you got to start at ground, step one again. So
yeah,
that's the nature of the beast. Injuries is, that's part of the game, and this next man up mentality. The only problem is when that next man steps up, do you got somebody that's gonna make a play, or is he just a guy?
Right.
We talked about do you have a playmaker or do you have somebody that's just a guy? And our question was Jordan Davis, was he worthy of that first round draft pick status? Or was he just a guy? Because up until that Rams game, he was good, not great.
Yeah.
And then that Rams game, he flipped the switch.
Absolutely.
So going forward, that works better for us because going forward now we got somebody. Jordan Davis, you got a game plan. Jalen Carter, you got a game plan. Zadarius Smith, he gonna take a lot, and Jalen Hunt is gonna take a lot. So I don't think Zadarius Smith is at that point now. I think Nolan Smith was. They was game planning Nolan Smith because he can beat you. But
sure can.
But we still got two solids in the middle where that's giving offensive lines a problem. So that's where we are. We got to deal with it. Next man up. Again, I have supreme confidence that Vic Fangio will get him ready. And we're going to see what we're going to see down in Tampa in that heat.
Yeah, That next man up thing is real. I know it was on the other side of the boat, but I think we seen that last week. Obviously, when Lane went out, and the difference between Matt Pryor is it Matt Pryor, right? Matt Pryor versus Fred. When Fred
Yeah.
came in, I mean, Matt was
What was Matt Pryor? What was Matt Pryor doing in that game, yo?
he was out there.
He was a
He was out there.
turnstile. That's what he was doing.
That's about it.
Because
It was.
I'm still confused. I'm still confused on how Matt Pryor is the person that comes in that game before Fred Johnson. That decision still baffles me.
Well, no, that's
To
an
this day.
easy. That's an easy answer, because you got to understand the process. So Matt Pryor was the backup to Lane Johnson. What we found out was he just wasn't very good. But they went through camp, they went through practice, they went through all of this time with Matt Pryor as Lane Johnson's backup. So what did you think they was going to do? He's been practicing at that position.
Ain't
Lane
they cut,
Johnson
bro?
goes
Like,
down. You got to put him in.
ain't bro
You
been cut like 10 times?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Whatever happened in the past is irrelevant, because he was on the team and he was on the depth chart as number 2. I don't care what he did 3 years ago. He on the team now, and he was listed as the number 2 right tackle. Now, if there's anything that you want to question, is you looking at Stoutland and Sirianni, like, why did you wait so long to get him out of there? Well, the reason why you do that is because you got that's who's been practicing at that position. Because what you don't want to happen is a worst case scenario if you move him over to right tackle and then all of a sudden Mailata goes down. Then you're really in a pickle. So that's why they do it. Everybody said that. Why did you have him in there? He was in there because he's the dude that was the second string tackle all through camp and up to them 3 games. That's just the way it works. Now, once he got in the game, he played so horribly that they was like, hey, Fred, can you swing to the other side? Because this is some bullshit.
Yeah,
And I
Fred.
guarantee you for Matt Pryor, that was not a good film session last week.
Yeah, all that proves is Matt Pryor just proved that Jeff Stoller can't make chicken salad out of every piece of chicken shit.
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
I'll say this to the CJ GJ thing, and I'll be done with it, because I done had this argument with about 4 different people in the last 2 days. The biggest indictment on CJ GJ is the fact that, as Eagles fans, especially with the way he's been operating in the last 8 years, Howie Roseman does not give away good players at premium ages.
Mm-mm.
He just doesn't do it. He
Good point.
pays those players. He pays those players. And the fact that after a month, not even a month after winning a Super Bowl, the dude that led your team in interceptions, the best safety on your roster at the time, gets traded at a premium age on an affordable contract, that was the biggest indictment there. And then he goes to the next team and he doesn't make it through September. So clearly, Howie Roseman knew what he was talking about when he moved him.
And let's not forget, this is his second term.
Yeah,
Howie Roseman gave up on you twice.
Correct. And remember what he said. Remember what CJ said. He was all in his feelings, and they had to talk some things out because he was in the wrong. He was feeling some kind of way. But to your point, let's all remember, Howie Roseman wants to win.
Of course.
So he's trying to look at the best situation for the team. CJ Gardner-Johnson was the best situation for the team. However, if all of the other extracurricular stuff was messing up that locker room, that's not worth it.
Production tolerance, I think
that's not worth it. Did y'all see that video? Yeah. Did you see the video from last year when I think they was doing a warm up at the link, and then all of a sudden CJ popped in and wanted to say something at the end?
I think I seen that. Yeah, I think I seen that.
You saw that video? He was like, y'all know me. Y'all know I talk a lot of shit. And
yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, they was getting ready. They was getting ready for the NFC Championship game.
I think it was for the playoff game. Yeah, before the playoff. Yeah.
Go back and watch that clip again. But notice Jalen Hurts' face when he did it. Notice Jalen Hurts.
Somebody pointed that out in the comments of that video. Now that you say that,
yeah,
somebody in the comments of that video pointed that out.
Did he look
Because he
fed up?
was because wasn't nobody expecting it. Because when you break that down and you got your captain of the team, let's break it down, let's have a good game, and then all of a sudden somebody coming after you, it's not like they coming back, trying to steal your thunder a little bit. He could have said what he said in film session or any other time, but when I saw like the look on his face, like he knew he was serious, but for him to even say something like that, for CJ to say something like that, clearly he had never done that before,
Right.
just based on the reaction.
Like the
So,
the the episode of Unscripted where he spoke in the team meeting before the Super Bowl
yeah,
and he was emotional. Like that's my favorite CJ moment. But the problem with him is he doesn't know when to turn that on and turn it off or when it's too much. That's his problem. Like he
yeah,
had discretion is the better part of valor and he doesn't have the discretion part.
yeah. But you know what? That's almost the same situation we were talking about with Jalen Carter.
Yeah.
It's like when the whole Spitgate thing happened, I was talking to my wife about this, and it's good to get a perspective from somebody that doesn't look at the game like I do. And her question was, why would he do something like that? What was he thinking? And the answer to the question is, he wasn't thinking nothing. He didn't think because that is his personality. And I'm saying that because that is CJ Gardner Johnson's personality.
Absolutely.
There's nothing.
Is
There's nothing that anybody can teach him. It is what it is. The only choice you have as a team or an organization is how much are you going to deal with before you got to make a move. And then you look at what D'Amico Ryans had to do. He had to make a move because he wasn't willing to live with the personality anymore. He had to cut his losses and go.
Cardinals just made this game a whole lot more interesting.
Yep, I see it. And you know what? Are you watching the Amazon like extra thing where they be putting the graphics and stuff up
Yeah,
there?
yeah. Where they got it basically like you behind the quarterback, and they
The
got
dude just said, the dude just came on about 6 minutes ago and said if the Cardinals need 2 possessions to either tie or win, they come back like 90% of the time. And if you need 3 possessions, it only happens like 40% of the time.
But Seattle
And
they tricked off a red zone trip when they was up 17-6. Instead of going and get the touchdown, I think one of the receivers
Yep.
had a holding call that brought it back and they ended up kicking the
Yeah,
field.
that's what turned the game around. That is what turned the game around right there.
If
That
not
turned the
for that,
game around.
it's a 3-possession game and it's over with pretty much.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no, that if they get 7 right there, it's GG's in the
It's
chat.
over. Because it would have been 24-6, I think, had he scored.
It's tied right
Yeah,
now.
it'd have been GG's in the chat.
Yeah. But you're not, because I just thought that CJ thing was an interesting just topic.
I knew it wasn't. I'll tell you another thing that was an indictment on CJ for me. When Slay left and he did, I don't know what podcast it was on, and
I saw
they
that.
asked him
I
about
think
the
it was
future.
Emin podcast.
They asked him about the future of the Eagles secondary without him, and he went out of his way to not mention CJ. Like that was an indictment to me because he mentioned Reed, how Reed was going to be the leader, and here he is with the C on his chest, which we kind of already knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
And he mentioned, and of course he brought up Q and Coop because they are the future of the secondary. And he even mentioned Ringo, but he never mentioned CJ. Like he did not mention CJ, and CJ even retweeted it and had something to say about it.
Yeah.
And that's his problem.
I remember. Did you ever hear the story he told about the weight room, the whole weight room thing?
No, what'd he say?
Well, yeah,
When he first came there, he was working out at NovaCare, and he was done, and he was trying to tell the rookies. Some of the rookies was in there to pick up all the weights, and he was saying where he come from, all the rooks got to clean up, and it's like, well, we ain't where you come from. Well, this is what we do. You pick up your own shit.
Yeah, we do something different. Yeah,
So-
you pull it off the rack, you put it back.
Right, but here's the problem. Here's the problem because I've seen situations like that, and every locker room has their own culture. Now, that's not the first time I've heard that, and I'm sure stuff like that goes on in other locker rooms where you haze the rooks and the rooks got to carry the shoulder pads, I used to have to. It was me and Vaughn Hebron, and when we had away trips, it was me, Vaughn, and it was Herschel Walker, it was James Joseph, Heath Sherman, um, and we used to at the time Kentucky Fried Chicken was doing the. I don't even know if y'all remember this. Kentucky Fried Chicken used to do rotisseries,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
them,
I remember that.
them things was
I
like
was
crack.
young, but I remember it.
Bro, them things was like crack, bro. They were so good. But anyways, that's what we used to bring for the vets. The rookies at your position is responsible for feeding the vets on the weight trips. And then they would tell you what they wanted. And it was your job to get it. It was just one of the things that you do. You hear stories now about if you a first round pick, all the guys at your position, you got to treat them to dinner, but they want to go to Ruth Chris. They find the most expensive restaurant in town and they run up like a $60,000-$70,000 bill on
Sheesh.
purpose. But word, like now with social media, you can't do that no more because you can't put somebody out there like that if they don't want to be. So now they don't. I'm sure they still do it, but they keep that really under wraps, and it's not as bad as it used to be. I'm saying all of that to say that's the culture that CJ Garner Johnson still operates in. Because out of all the things you want to start static about, because you don't like that the rooks ain't picking up your weights. That's the wrong hill to die on. Because when you go to a new situation, you don't bring that attitude into a new environment. You gotta read the room first. You
Yeah,
gotta check
the
out
first thing.
who the because I think he said he went and talked to Slay after that, and it's like you should have talked to Slay first. Who are the
Before
captains?
that.
What's the environment? You might be breaking rules.
Was this during his first go around in Philly or last year?
I think
Yeah,
this
it was
was
his
his
first go
first year.
around.
Yeah,
The first
It was
time
his
he was,
first go around. The person he was booked, the person they was talking about was Josh Jobe.
oh, he was talking to Josh
I
Jobe.
remember the story. I
right.
remember the story.
And
Oh,
everybody ain't beat for that. And everybody you want to be the big bad, veteran and get over there, rook, and do this and do that. And guess
The
what?
proper the pro
You can't
the
do that.
proper
Some
protocol
people ain't got the temperament for that, and they will
the
step to you.
yeah.
the proper protocol is not even to ask about that. The proper protocol is to get into the weight room while you lifting weights, and then one of the vets will be like, "Hey, nah, Rooks get that." That's the proper protocol.
Exactly. Exactly. But he was trying to put it down his way, and it's like you step to the wrong person, and I don't care what the rooks say or something like that. Like it's some people in a locker room that they not the one. You don't know what they've been through. You don't know you don't know what asking somebody to pick up weights will trigger.
Absolutely.
So he went all about that wrong, but that's his personality. And clearly he fucked around and found out.
Sure
So
did.
but
Yeah, and I think, and I honestly think that's where the resentment for Slay started, because I'm pretty sure Slay stood up for Josh Jobe.
yeah, yeah. And it's like you can't do that. But
Yeah,
again, I'm like, wow, you don't set the temperature in the room. You a visitor. You knew.
for
Sir,
And
sure.
people
sir, at this point, if we being honest, you're actually a cast off. The team that drafted you didn't want to resign you. That's why they
correct.
traded you for a fifth round pick.
Yeah, but I mean, but I'm looking at it from the prism of the guys that Novacare. Again, you don't care what happened before. That's none of your business. You wasn't there. That's not
Yeah.
my riddle to solve. You coming in my house, so I got to deal with what's going on in my house. And every team has got those guys. We was lucky. Ain't nobody gonna step to Herschel Walker. Wasn't nobody gonna step to Seth Joyner. Wasn't nobody gonna step to Clyde Simmons and Byron Evans and Wes Hopkins, Eric Allen. Wasn't nobody stepping to them and causing no static with them dudes. We those that was the gangrene defense. They were established in the league as one of the nastiest defenses in the NFL. You wasn't gonna come in there hooping and hollering and you some second or third year vet or something like that. They weren't built for that. But you got people that got that personality that will test you. Let's not forget that C.J. Gardner-Johnson was the dude that after a good defensive series, he stepped up in Tom Brady's face talking smack. And Tom Brady was like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah. I remember.
And he did it
Buddy
just
ain't
to
got
do
no
it.
chill.
Yeah,
Buddy ain't got no chill.
exactly. That's the perfect phrase. He has no chill. And you can't do that to everybody because it wears people thin. Because you going extra and people looking at you like, dude, what are you doing? Like
Yeah,
there's a
you in a
time and
whole
place
like
for it.
you in a whole new locker room in a whole new environment with a whole new coaching staff. You don't know how these people operate. You only been there for training camp and 3 games, and you stepping in the face of the franchise quarterback. Like that's
Oh damn.
wild.
Seahawks pulled this one out. They kicked the field goal.
That's wild. Like you been there for you ain't been there a month. You ain't played a month worth of regular season games, and you
Exactly.
calling out the franchise quarterback. That
You
is
you, you can't do that. And everybody done seen the breakdowns now of them 3 plays he screwed up.
Yeah, I saw that
Yep.
against the. I think it
3
was
plays.
that Rams
my
game.
Yep.
my homie asked me.
Completely.
My homie asked me. My homie asked me. He said, "What you think would have happened if he would have did that to Jalen Hurts?" I was like, "Well, after Lane Johnson would have got him out the wall he put him through, he'd have been unemployed."
Exactly. And you know what? Jalen strikes me as, he one of them stoic dudes that don't really say much. But don't get it
That's why I
twisted,
said
man.
Lane Johnson.
J-
That's why
well,
I said
no,
Lane Johnson would have put him through a wall.
exactly. But don't act like Jalen Hurts is some punk or something. That
Oh,
joker
no.
grew up in Houston. You know what I'm
Yeah.
Yeah,
saying?
the
He done done
thing
dealt
with
with that
Jalen is
before.
the thing with Jalen is Jalen's so stoic and so respectable that it wouldn't even made it to Jalen. Jordan Mailata would have called CJ on his way to Jalen.
Yeah, and them Polynesians, you don't want to mess with them, bro.
Hmm.
Yeah,
You
so
gotta
Oh,
you
it
gotta
no.
wouldn't
stay
have
on the
like
good
I
side
said,
of them
like I
jokers,
told him,
man.
after they got through picking him up out the wall, whoever put him through, he would have been just as unemployed as he is right now.
Yeah. But I mean, we saying all of this and it's just we all guessing because we don't know what really happened. But
No,
I do know this. And I say this all the time in any situation. D'Amico Ryans is a good young defensive coach.
Yep.
CJ Gardner-Johnson is a good defensive player. And he let talent walk out the door on purpose
Yeah.
for a reason.
At a premium age too. That's the
Yep.
biggest thing.
In his
He
prime.
CJ ain't not, yeah, he ain't number 26, 27, huh?
In
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
prime.
Yeah.
And now, let me tell you where CJ screwed up. Because now they talking about it. Mike Florio's talking about it on his show. Now the big media heads is discussing this about, well, what is CJ Gardner-Johnson going to do next? Who's going to want to sign him? Somebody going to sign him. He going to end up sitting tight. He probably going to be at the crib for a couple weeks. And then when we get to weeks, 7, 8, 9, and 10, another rash of injuries is going to hit and somebody going to be desperate. So they'll take a beat on him.
Yeah. For
Yeah, he
sure.
gonna be back on the field for the stretch run. It's just where he gonna be at.
Right. But
Yeah.
guess what? He'll be in the same situation again and he'll be humbled again. Like, listen, man, don't come with this BS no more because if you get kicked off another team, you done.
That could be it, bro.
And
For
this
real.
and this is that gut check moment for him. This is that moment where he got to look in the mirror and ask himself if he wants to keep a career. That's
Yep.
where he's at now.
And here's
Because you got to look.
the worst part of it, though. Here's the worst part of it. And again, this is just my opinion. I don't have no factual information. I'm just looking from the outside looking in and I'm guessing. But I would think that all of whatever went down, it was probably unnecessary.
Oh yeah.
It was
Oh
probably
yeah,
unnecessary
absolutely,
and could have been
absolutely.
avoided.
You don't release somebody that's speaking the fire that you need.
Correct.
Yeah. Nah, ain't no question. Especially a dude like you said that the stage he's at, and the fact that he's a champion and he's got all these pretty good accolades for people to be moving off you that easily and that
Yeah.
quick for nothing.
Because you
That
want that
typically,
spiciness on your squad.
yeah.
You want it.
And not for nothing. Going into him as a player, He's a chess piece. He's movable. He can do multiple things for you.
And
So
he's a
for people
legit
to be
player.
giving up on that, yeah, for people to be giving up on that type of talent, like he's an all around safety. He can blitz. He can line up in the slot. He can. We know what he can do lining up deep. Like he can do all of that. So for people to be moving off your talent so easily, like it's clearly a different problem here.
It's I've been in
And
situations like that, and when the headache outweighs the talent,
Yeah, that's
you got to
what
make
I
a
was
decision.
saying. I was
You got to
saying
make a decision.
production. They would say production and tolerance.
Yep.
Depending on the level you produce and what they can tolerate from you, that's how long they'll be able to keep you around. You know what I'm saying?
Because
And
technically, he's somebody that could split a locker room.
he could.
He's the same situation that To was in. Like
Man,
you talking about a situation like people don't really understand how tight knit it is in a locker room. You know everybody in there. You talking to everybody face to face all the time, every day. So if some beef happens in that locker room, well, clearly it's going to be some dudes on one side and some dudes on the other. And then some of the dudes on either side of it, you might have two guys that disagree and they both on a defense. So now you got to put that schism to the side so you can go outside and be on the same team in practice or in the game. And that becomes difficult to do if every time you go back in the locker room, now you still mad about what happened the other day. Or why you messing with my mans and all. It gets into a problem that you don't need. And it creates unnecessary strife, and that can roll over onto the field. Because the one thing I saw in that one clip, I don't know who they were playing.
the Rams, I think. You talking about with the
It
Texans?
could have been. All I know is the dude took CJ's deep man, got
Yep.
beat for a touchdown, and immediately the dude turned around with his hands up, like, where you at?
Yeah, I saw the
and
clip.
that's where the problem comes in.
I
And
think
that
the guy that had the clip up, because it was that Rams game. He said he highlighted because he slowed it down and he
Yep.
pointed exactly when his teammate put his hands up, and he said, "This is the look of a player who clearly is frustrated with what CJ just did."
Exactly. And I guarantee you,
he put a
in
pin on
film
him.
session,
Like, yeah,
and because trust me, that's when all of the arguments and all of that type of stuff happen when you in film session. Because now you looking at it and you like, yo, what were you doing? Why would you what we supposed to do? And all of it, that's when that happens in film session, because you could grade out 99% on the game, but that one play that you screwed up on, that's the play that they're gonna rewind like 30 times.
Yeah, especially that game, because that game was a 14-9 game. It wasn't high scoring anyway. I think that was one of the bigger plays of the whole game. That was
for the most part, defense played all right.
That's a game losing play. That was a game losing play.
That was it.
Because that was a touchdown. That was a touchdown that was given up. They lost by 5. That's a game losing play.
Exactly. And
it was 14-9. I think that was
what makes that worse is because usually on the defense, if somebody makes a mistake, there's some things on defense you can do to cover that up. Like, for instance, just as as a comp, when Pryor, or no, this wasn't Matt Pryor, this was Saquon. When Saquon missed his block,
oh yeah,
and that DB came in there and cleaned Jalen's clock, you looking at Saquon like, bruh, you a running back. You never block outside. You always look inside first. Always inside to outside. Inside, that's what they teach you. Inside to outside first. And you let that man come in scot-free and, damn near gave Jalen a concussion. That's the same thing. Because if one player makes a mistake on the offensive line, the whole play is ruined. You have a very, very short leash. Maybe Jalen can spin around and make somebody miss or something like that. But on defense, if somebody makes a mistake, it's usually there's a way or a mechanism somebody can cover for you. If the deep safety got enough room, look at the situation with when we played the Chiefs, and Quinyon got a late step on that touchdown. He made up a lot of ground, and he was a half a foot away from getting his hand on the ball and blocking that.
That's that 4-3-7.
He was just a half second too late. But my point is that he still almost got there and covered for the mistake. So I don't know how
Because the
many
mistake was
mistakes.
Reed's, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It was
I
Reed's
don't.
mistake, wasn't it?
Yep, I don't
Well,
know how
somebody
many
broke down the
mistakes
film.
CJ Gardner Johnson has made, but
Somebody broke
clearly
down the film of that play.
he
Somebody broke
made a
down the
lot.
film of that exact play with the Quinion play, and they said that Reed made a mistake because he was covering for Makuba's mistake. Makuba
True.
jumped down low,
Right,
and he took the and Reed took the deep over instead of jumping back to his deep third, where the seam went right behind him, and
right.
Q tried to
Now
make up for it.
you'd be surprised how often that happens. The difference is that the quarterback Matt Stafford saw it and made the right read and made the right throw. But how many times does the same exact thing happen, but the quarterback doesn't see it? So you
Pretty
kind
up.
of get away with it. But in this situation, back to CJ, and we can land this plane with him. He made too many mistakes. He was too mouthy, and he was trying to. It's almost like he was trying to get kicked up out of there because he's been. If we can say that he's still a good player and all of that kind of stuff, that is not up for debate. And he's been in the league long enough to know what not to do, and he chose to do it. He knew good and damn well you ain't supposed to go at the CJ Stroud. He the franchise.
He's a
Well,
he's
how
a
you gonna
better
win that battle?
he's a he's a better player than he is teammate.
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. And now that's getting out. He's
yeah,
he gonna mess around and get the Shador Sanders treatment. That's what he about to do.
yeah. Nah.
To
And
switch
where's
to switch to
go ahead?
switch gears, let's go get over here to Petula right quick before we get before you get us up out of here. Cause I'm gonna say this. I do think that second half, I do think it'll look more like that against the Bucks for one reason and one reason only. And this is what I'm holding on to. Something happened that never happens with the Eagles, and that is Jalen Hurts called out his OC.
Yeah,
We never see Jalen. We never see Jalen do that type of thing. Like that's not a Jalen type of situation to do. Jalen is PC, but he's PC in his own way. So the fact that Jalen highlighted that in the post game, that's an indictment on on Kevin Patullo. Now the ball is in your court. Your quarterback's made it known what he wants and what he needs from you. What are you going to do about it?
right.
Boy, I hope he.
And we'll find out.
I hope they go. But you was kind of touching on it too, Coach, to kind of piggyback off what he was saying. But one thing I can say, like in off objectivity, I can't totally knock the approach. And obviously, you got to go game to game, situation to situation. But their approach about not turning the ball over, even if it does, end up in being too conservative. I mean, you can't argue necessarily with 19-1, man.
That you can't.
You
You
can't, and
you
that's my thing
No, but
with.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you.
absolutely
I'm gonna
right.
say. But I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this to that. I'm gonna say this to that. You're right. You can't knock 19-1. But what you can say is that 19th game of the 19-1 was the one you got in trouble, and that shit didn't work.
I mean, that's facts, but you got to look because they looking at the total. They looking at the process of everything. They're not looking at just the first half of this past week. If you look at the last 20 games out of that 19-1, how many of them look like that first half? That was pretty much it. That if anything, they'll look at that and be like, "That was a blip. That's not
We
going to
had
happen
we had a
again."
couple of them.
It was a
Everybody
couple,
remembers
but
the
not to
Carolina
that.
We had a couple.
game.
We had a couple of them.
Not
We
that
had a
bad.
Yeah.
couple of them that look like that.
Here's the
Like
here's the
do
deal
we
though.
have to go?
Here's the deal though, because I guarantee you, I can go into that tape, look at the first half of that game, and I can pull out some throws that Jalen missed.
Yeah,
100%.
So if one or two throws is the difference, just like we were talking about the first game um, against the Chiefs, first play of the game,
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
don't get a block.
The AJ play.
AJ Brown is throwing his hands up because he's so wide open. If Jalen makes that throw and we score on that first play, the conversation is totally different.
Yep,
And Jalen didn't miss him. We
the
missed
block.
the tight ends missed the block, and Jalen doesn't get a chance to get the throw off.
Right.
So again, one failure on the offensive line screws up the whole play. But it was there. We just didn't execute right, and that whole conversation changes. I saw somebody today that was like talking about they were mad. They don't agree with the fact that Quez Watkins is back on the team. And it's like, well, guess what? He's still on the team. And whatever he did in the past, dropping that ball against Washington, all of that type of stuff, all of that shit goes out the door the minute he catches a pass from Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
This
First of all,
year,
well,
if he catches the pass that's thrown to him, ain't nobody care about what happened 2 years ago. Ain't nobody worried about that. You worried
factual.
about what you can
And
do right now going forward. Period.
And if Quez Watkins is in a position where he's getting significant snaps, we in bigger trouble than Quez
Thank
Watkins.
Exactly.
We in bigger trouble than that.
Exactly.
The thing I'll say about this though, another reason why I'm confident that they'll step into this new evolution of the offense is because the one thing that the Eagles have been able to do under the Sirianni Hurts era is they've adapted. This last 4 years has been one of the best 4 year stretches in Eagles history, and it's because they've been able to adapt to whatever type of game they need to play to win that game.
Yeah.
And now you're being showed now that they're not gonna let Saquon beat you. They're not. So in order to loosen that up, you got to take the opposite approach of what you took last year. Last year, you ran the pass. This year, you're gonna have to pass the run.
Yeah.
I think I ain't gonna lie.
And the one thing, and I'll say this, my bad, bro. I'll say this, coach. The one thing that you harp on that I cannot retweet it, I cannot repeat it enough. Get Saquon on the edges. Please.
Yeah.
Please. We got every time this man touched the ball on the edge, he run a cornerback over. Why are we slamming him in the D tackles?
I don't get it. But that's
He's
that's the repeatability that gets,
he made a cornerback hate to see Quadzilla coming around that corner, and we never send him around that corner. I don't understand it.
Nope.
And we got and not just that, we have some of the most athletic offensive linemen, so you can pull pretty much any position.
Well, to be fair, the offensive line has not been. They've been good at times. They haven't been great yet. They haven't been dominant yet.
Well, you know what I think. I think will help fix that is getting Saquon on the edges. Stop having them banging their heads against 300-pounders. Get Lane or Jordan outside on the edge. Let them knock a corner or a safety over or two, and then they start getting their juices flowing. Then you start beating up people in the middle. That's what I would do.
Let me be honest with you. I think they need to bring back, kick in a couple more of the RPO plays.
Yeah.
And to start the game,
I agree with that too.
They need to go no huddle.
Yeah,
from the beginning. Go tempo right off the bat.
I definitely agree with both of those because we have not seen enough RPOs and reads. Nope. And we haven't even seen the signature play where they bring Dallas across to the flats and they fake the handoff and he can either pitch it to Dallas, take off with the runner, hand it off. We haven't even seen. I don't think we've seen that play one time this year.
No, he did it on the very first drive last week. The fourth down, they did that. He did.
Oh, you know what? You show right. You show right. He did pull it. Oh, and I think they did it. I think they did it one more time in the fourth quarter after he hit. That was it. After he hit AJ on the first 3rd and 10. I think it was the very first and 10 they ran to death.
And he picked up first.
But that's the only. Why we not like? Come on now, like. It's like the blueprint is there for you. You just got to put your own stamp on it and use it. I don't understand. It's like he's purposely.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, and this is where you gotta keep it 100, right? If we gonna rip Patullo for that first half, you at least have to give him some credit. It ain't even got to be a lot, but you got to give him some credit for the second half because it ain't like Jalen was causing all them plays on his own in the second half.
Well, no, I agree with that. I 100% like. I definitely agree with that. Like, yeah, he adjusted. My only thing to that was it took you too long.
Well, yeah, but so again, here's the thing though, and this is where you gotta really understand what they do and how they prepare during the week. They went over this day after day after day. They went over this for 5 days straight. And based on the film that they watched on the LA Rams, this is the game plan that they came up with. Because, and now you get into analytics, they did this 38% of the time on fourth down. They did this 26.3% of the time on 2nd and 5 or more. And they break all of those instances down because they watch a ton of tape.
Absolutely.
And then they get the percentages and the analytics for all of that stuff. And they say, hey, this is what they do most of the time here. In this situation, they do this. And they do it 38% of the time. And they got data to back it up. And then they take all of that and say, okay, here is the best plays against this, 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 and this. The problem is like when people say adjust, the problem is that the chess match you're playing in the NFL is when you play the game, now you're seeing stuff that you haven't seen before. And now you got to figure it out. And sometimes they keep switching things up. So that's in a situation like that, I think the best thing that Patullo could do is you call your game plan, but you give Jalen the anonymity to say, all right, we back in cover 2. I think they hiding something. They're going to drop back in quarters coverage. They're going to try to bring somebody up. Is this guy a spy? Is this Mike a spy? Or is he going to do a Tampa drop? Like, there's things that Jalen can decipher at the line of scrimmage. That way, they can change anything on the fly.
Facts.
That's the best
I agree with that. I think
that's why Jalen was so hyped in that second half. I've been
saying
go ahead.
For 3 years. I've been saying since Steichen left that Jalen should have more checks in this offense. Like I've been saying that. Kellen Moore kind of gave him more last year that we saw, especially in like the playoffs with the Super Bowl and everything, with the gun thing with AJ and everything.
Yeah.
And now it seemed like this year, starting the year off, outside of protections, they didn't really give him that same like capability at the line of scrimmage in the first 2 games. And it felt like the first time he really had that opportunity to do that was the second half against the Rams.
Right.
Yeah. I think some you to piggyback on what you're saying, Coach, and what both y'all saying, I thought about this. I heard this kind of theory floated out there too. I think because obviously Patullo's the new guy, the assumption is, and he's the OC, the assumption is that the struggles is, well, he's kind of pigeonholing Jalen, or he's the one that got the straitjacket. But I also heard people throw around, what if Nick is the one that got the, like, basically, what if in the second half, that's what Patullo want to do, but he don't really got the chance to do that because Sirianni ain't letting him have that full control. Like, in other words, that's what Patullo really want to do, but he's so much.
Yeah, but you can't.
Sirianni won't.
The problem with that is when you're putting together a game plan, everybody's in the room.
True.
Everybody's contributing. Jalen, Patullo, and like right now, I don't know how much Sirianni is in the quarterback meeting room.
That's the part we don't know.
So, but okay, let's just say that he is. Play it out. When you watching film and trying to get your game plan together, y'all all 3, and let's say it is Nick Sirianni. Nick Sirianni is saying, okay, here they are in cover 2. You got cover 2, you got man on the Z. All right, what do you want to do? Then they bring out their options, then they look at the analytics, and then they all agree, hey, these are the plays that are best against this. Jalen might say, hey, we can do a dagger play. He can talk about his plays, all of that type of stuff. But my point is they always do it together. It's not like Patullo was in his own office making this stuff up on his own, and then he turns it in to Jalen at the end of the day. It don't work that way. They all sitting at the same table, looking at the same tape, and they together come up and say, well, this is what I want to do. If Jalen don't like it, Jalen will be like, but what happens if this, that, or the other? And they kind of go back and forth to whittle it down because none of them want to be wrong.
Yeah, they
Kevin Patullo wants Jalen Hurts to run for 40 yards like Jalen Hurts does. He also wants Jalen Hurts to throw a 60-yard deep touchdown pass to A.J. Brown. You want the best of both worlds. And they collectively sit together and they come up with the best plays for any given situation. Now, if it don't work out that way, that's when you got to adjust. that's when Jalen comes into play and says, okay, now I'm on the field, and this is not, they're not showing us what they showed on film. So I got to come up with something different.
I think Jalen made a point to say, he always makes a point to say that every game, every year takes a different version of him. I think with Kevin Patullo this year, being especially with what we've seen so far, I think Jalen's gonna have to be a lot more vocal when it comes to game planning with this offense.
I think the other guy, I ain't gonna lie, that they should listen to is AJ. Hey AJ, what you think of the offense this week, dog? If we need to get you more involved as soon as possible, I'm like, that might be like kind of piggyback off what y'all saying. You might have to throw a little bit more to set up the run.
Yeah,
Honestly,
but that's a cop out though. That's a cop out. Because what do you think they do normally? You get one of the baddest receivers in the league, and you don't want to get him the ball. That's not what they think. They trying to figure out a way to give him the ball. Trust me, they're trying to figure
That's
out.
that's what brings me back to saying I think Jalen's gonna have to be more vocal in game planning as far as what he's seeing. Because like you said, he's the one on the field that's seeing it. And
yeah.
Jalen's getting blitzed. Jalen's getting blitzed at a higher rate than he's ever been blitzed before.
Absolutely.
Like, ever.
What the hell you think gonna happen this week with Todd Bowles?
Oh man.
Oh yeah, Todd Bowles in the house because we like let's be
blitz pickup.
Let's be real. Let's be honest here. Todd Bowles and his blitz screen is Jalen Hurts' boogeyman right now. Then what happened?
Coach pop out?
It looked like it. Did the stream stop?
Did his stream
I don't know what just happened.
Coach, you there?
There you go.
Yeah, I got kicked out of my own stream.
Oh yeah, I'm like,
yeah,
I thought you left us to run the show.
I wasn't touching nothing. It just booted me out. Damn.
Oh wow.
But yeah, I was saying, like we were saying, yeah, we know he gonna get that this week, and if we being honest, like we being completely 100, Todd Bowles and his blitz scheme is Jalen Hurts' boogeyman right now.
Absolute. Well, that remains to be seen. But I do remember Todd Bowles was the one that was talking about he can't read the defense.
Oh, that was Todd that said that.
It might not.
I think
it was Tampa Bay.
It was one of his defense. Well, he's one of his
coordinators. Yeah.
He's 1-4 against Todd Bowles. Worst record against any team he's played against.
However, that 1-4, the one that we won is the only game AJ played in.
That's true. And two of those was with the GOAT too.
We've never had a healthy. We've had one time we had a healthy team playing Tampa Bay. One time.
And they won comfortably.
So we'll see what happens with AJ Brown on the field.
Yeah, this week they would be the team shorter of receivers because no Mike, and I think they said Godwin might be back, but you don't know how healthy he'll be.
Yep.
But the receiver
Godwin gonna be back, but I doubt he gonna be 100%. But I mean, 80% Chris Godwin is still 80% Chris Godwin is still dangerous.
But even 80 for this week, I think because he coming off an ACL, I think. So
yeah, and you got Quinyon and Coop out there.
Yeah. Now he gonna be on the pitch count.
And you got
definitely because that's what I was telling my homie week because my homie bets and he was saying, man, what you think the action is on the Bucs? I was like, man, ain't no Mike Evans. If Buka going to Quinyon Bay this weekend, he got a trip. He got a tour of Quinyon Bay this weekend coming to him because ain't no Mike Evans. You the number one, sir.
And don't forget about that young man on the edge. Now that Nolan is out, Jalix Hunt is going to be coming.
Jalix Hunt. Now they say Tristan Wirfs might be back, but I'm looking at the opposite side. I think Zadarius Smith got a chance to eat this weekend.
Zadarius Smith has paid dividends immediately.
I think he got a chance. I think he got a chance to eat this weekend. I think he got a chance to eat, and they banged up in the middle too. This is a big. This might be the Jalen Carter game we've been waiting for.
Yeah,
because Jalen Carter been good, but he ain't been Jalen Carter yet. And I think this week might be his week because they missing 3 offensive linemen.
Yeah, they missing guys. They got nicks just like we do.
We got
And I think,
opportunities. We got opportunities, and I just think they need to let.
and I also think we could pick off Baker. Baker puts that ball in harm's way. I
Yeah,
think
he
we could pick
does.
off Baker.
He does. Baker doesn't get enough credit for his escapability because he's
Yeah,
not the
man.
fastest guy in the world. But in those situations, he's very difficult to bring down, and
I
he can
like
put
I
the
like
ball out
Baker.
there
Yeah.
and get it on target.
I
So
like Baker. Baker, my second favorite quarterback in the
I do
league.
too. Then stupid Cleveland Browns let him walk away. But hey, that's y'all fault.
Hey, man, they forever gonna be in purgatory as long as they running things the way they
Man, I'll
run
be trying to
things.
pull for my Browns, man. I'm an Ohio boy, so I'll be pulling for my Bengals and Browns, but Lord have mercy. Boy, they make you walk around with a bag over your head.
And it's strictly, and it's not even the players. It's strictly the organization. This is a deep seated problem with both of those organizations.
Bruh. We
Just the way
used
they
to
run
when I was in
things.
high school, we used to complain about the Bengals. But you couldn't even really say something because when I was in high school, the Bengals made it to the Super Bowl twice.
Oh wow.
Unfortunately, they just happened to run into Joe Montana
Yeah,
both
not
times.
facts.
Kenny Anderson
81
lost
and
to Joe.
80.
Kenny
I was about to
Anderson
say
lost
81 and 88.
and Boomer Esiason. Yep. Boomer Esiason, 88. That was the year of the Icky Shuffle.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. We had Icky Woods and we had I think Tim
Chris
Crumround
Collinsworth
was
was on
still
that team.
playing. Anthony Munoz was still playing. We
Was
had a
was
squad, man.
Collinsworth on that team? Was
Now
Collinsworth on that team, or
Collinsworth
was he
was
on
on
the
the
81
first.
team?
He was on the 81 team. Chris Collinsworth could ball, man.
Yeah, I didn't know Chris Collinsworth was as nice as he was
He,
till I looked him up.
Chris
He
Collinsworth
he
was
annoying as
nasty.
he annoying as hell in the booth, but he was a decent little receiver.
Yeah, he was. But our boys gotta handle their business. They gotta handle their business. And I think Jalen Hurts is gonna have a little I think he's well, I hope they give him a little bit more control at the line of scrimmage.
My
Because
bold prediction is
that's
Cooper.
the ace in the hole. Because he can still take off and burn you like that.
I think Jalen not one to say this, but I think Jalen know what his record is against Todd Bowles, and I think he wants this game.
Oh, absolutely.
I genuinely do. I genuinely think he wants this game. Like I think he does. And I think that's another reason why he was so animated after the game last time. Because he like, bro, we can't do this against the Bucs. We can't do this against no team that really, honestly. But we definitely can't do this next week.
It would not surprise me, and we'll never know, but it would not surprise me if in those same meeting rooms where they collectively come up with a game plan, uh, after that Rams game, looking at that first half of the film, probably may not have been a good conversation.
Nah, it was definitely some uncomfortable conversations that was had
That,
after
that
that for
so
watching that first 30 minutes of football.
and
Definitely,
and
and
then
it should have been.
after all of that, then Patullo give the press conference that he gave, where he was talking in circles, and I was like, that ain't a good look, bro.
I've been an Eagles fan since I was 8 years old, and I didn't grow up in Philly. I grew up in New Orleans, but my pops, who the man who raised me, he from Philly. He raised me on the Eagles. I've been an Eagles fan since I was 8 years old, 2001. I have never seen the first half of football so abysmal. And the reason why I said, and like we've seen worse offensive outputs, but not with this talent. That's what made it
Man,
worse. The
Right.
man.
talent that was on the field.
That's fair.
That's
I,
why I say that's why I say that's the worst first half of football I've ever seen as in regards to what's lined up on the field. Because we've seen bad outputs, but we had James Thrash and Todd Pinkston and Freddie Mitchell out there. So we understand why it wasn't looking that great.
Man, don't
But you
clown on
got AJ
Fred.
Devon.
That's my boy.
I mean, I'm
man,
just
man.
we being honest though. They yeah, they not AJ. They not Devontae.
No,
Like
they're not. They're not.
they're not even they might not even be Jahan.
Nah,
So
that's facts. That's facts. Uh,
so that's why I say that was the most abysmal first half of football I've ever seen from a Philadelphia Eagles football team. Because
Yeah,
the
and you're
talent on
right
the
about
field.
you're right about Jalen because Jalen has been very careful and very guarded in those situations before, and he let it out. So he must have been frustrated.
Had to
definitely.
be.
He
Had to
because he
be.
let it out.
And I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna tell you what was even a bigger indictment on him saying it. When he got asked the question, He took a pause and
He took
still said it.
He took a long breath.
Yeah, he did. He
That
thought
joker
about it.
said,
He took a long. He took
unacceptable.
a.
He said, unacceptable. We got to do
He's
better. He
he
sure did.
he paused so long. He literally smiled at Pam Oliver twice in the pause before he answered the question. You know how
'Cause-
long you got to pause to smile, stop smiling, then smile again, and then say something.
Boy, he let him have it too. So
Yeah, so that's why I gotta believe that there has to be. I'm not gonna necessarily say a change because we know how this offense operates. This offense operates in ball control, hold the ball, be safe with the football. But I would not be surprised to see in that first half, and we got AJ 1-on-1 over there. We're gonna let AJ do his thing. We got Devontae in the slot against a dude that we know can't guard him. Let's let Devontae do his thing. Why not? And then
well,
you got a quarterback and you got a quarterback who's not reckless with the ball. Jalen Hurts has, in his entire career,
yeah,
outside of 2023, where he had a lot of fluke picks too. I will die on that hill. I have never seen a man get as many tip picks in 1 year as Jalen Hurts got in 2023. I will die on that hill. But outside of 2023, Jalen has always been very good at pushing the ball downfield, but
right.
doing it safely. He's never been person that just puts the ball in harm's way. That's never been his style.
Yeah, I
So
think that
you
was
you
that was that was the origin of a lot of that safe stuff, though. Of the
facts. I agree with that.
that
With him
was
throwing so many picks in
yeah
2023, and
2023.
let's be honest, he was big play chasing because the defense was cheese. Like, let's call it what it was.
Yeah, yeah,
He was
especially
big.
especially
Yeah, that
during the
defense couldn't tackle
defense
nobody.
couldn't tackle, and I think
That
that was the origin of what we got now. Is like because he had the turnovers, and I think Nick was because Nick is human. Like he was probably feeling the heat of like I might lose my job, so he and all of
Oh,
them was like, look,
there
we
was
gonna
there
scale it
was a
back.
meeting about his employment. There was a
Yeah,
meeting about his employment. So I'm pretty sure he got a little spooked for
yeah, he
sure.
was like, we got to scale this back, otherwise I'm gonna be up out of here, and that's
If
kind of the
he
origin.
would have, I didn't want him to get fired after that Tampa Bay game, but if he had have gotten fired, I would have understood
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
bad.
because
that's exact. That was
that
my
was a
exact
game I was
word.
like, everybody and their mama know that they was going to be bringing the blitz, and it looked like we didn't have
Dude,
no hot routes prepared, and I was like, we just looked absolutely horrible.
I
The
I was
remember.
the
like,
issue I
I didn't get
the
that at
biggest
all.
issue I had the biggest issue I had with that season mainly was the fact that Jalen was clearly hobbled, but yet we weren't even remotely trying to use the run game. Like, not as much as we should. Like, DeAndre Swift went
Yeah.
over 1,000, but DeAndre Swift could have easily had 1,300 if he was used properly.
Don't get me on that. Don't get me on that soapbox, bro.
Mm,
Miles Sanders could have led the league in rushing. We've had the offensive line to do that the last 5-6 seasons, and we just didn't.
Yeah,
We
man,
just didn't. We let him waste. If you look at
yeah.
statistically, Miles Sanders could have. Who was the leader? What was the guy from? What was the guy
Jon-
from the
Jonathan Taylor.
Raiders?
No, no, no.
The Raiders that year in 22.
Josh Jacobs. Josh
Josh Jacobs.
Josh
Jacobs.
Jacobs. If statistically, if you look at the numbers, if you took the difference, like let's say Josh Jacobs had 200 carries and Miles Sanders only had 150. If you take the difference in the 50 carries and you multiplied it by um, Miles Sanders yards per carry, that number, those yards would have put him over the top for the leading rusher. And at the
Yeah,
very least, at the top three, the problem is we didn't commit to it because what we were doing at that time was still running the offense and trying to treat Jalen. Everybody wanted to see him throw throw the ball 40 something times a game. And even back then, I knew because it was easy to tell whenever Jalen threw the ball more than 25 times a game, he either turned the ball over or it wasn't good. It wasn't good. You got to go back to the RPO and handing the ball off. And then I remember when we played Chicago, it was cold as hell in Chicago. And they ran the RPO 17 times, and that's when he busted his ribs up, I think. That's when he got hurt.
His shoulder. So it
Yeah.
was a shoulder. He was
Yeah,
throwing
it
shoulder.
was like 12 degrees outside. That ground is hard as concrete. Why you running him that? Hand the ball off to the guys you pay to run the ball.
Yeah, that's why he ended up
Yeah,
missing that game the next week, and I think that actually
that
cost him
you can
MVP that
you
year.
hey, if we being honest, that game plan cost him an MVP.
That's what I was about
Absolutely.
to say.
You're
It costed
absolutely
him the
right.
that game plan costed him the MVP that year because he missed the Dallas game, which was on national TV the day before
And
Christmas.
hey, look, listen to me. Gardner Minshew went out there and put up 34 on Dallas.
Yep.
Jalen would have fried them folks.
Would have fried him because I remember that game down in Dallas where we tried to run the tush push with Gardner Minshew.
Couldn't do it.
No.
Couldn't do it. And he had three
If
turnovers.
Gardner Minshew, if,
3-4 turnovers.
and Gardner Minshew had 4 turnovers.
Yep, he did.
If Gardner Minshew putting up 34 with 4 turnovers, bro, Jalen's going for 45.
Correct.
That reminded me of
at
that
the
Washington
least.
game last year. Same thing. We about to run the
Oh
team
man,
off
the
the field.
Washington game. If Quez Watkins catches the ball, the game is over. So
No, not that year. I'm talking
Well, he talking about last year. Talking about last year when Jalen got the concussion.
Yeah, when he got
yeah.
concussed.
You're right.
And who was it? I think it was. Oh my God, he went to Cleveland. Oh, Kenny Pickett.
Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, when he had all, when he had
Yeah,
the
problem with that game was 2 things. Kenny Pickett got 3 turnovers after because they got the first 2 while Jalen was still in the game. He got 3 turnovers, and the second turnover on that drive was when Jalen got the concussion. Kenny Pickett threw the slant route to AJ. That was the only touchdown that Kenny Pickett scored in that game. Because the very next score was Saquon from 60. That's when we went up 21-6. After that, 3 turnovers turned into 3 field goals. That was the problem. That was the problem with Kenny Pickett. 3 more turnovers turned into 9 points.
Well,
in the NFC Championship game, 4 turnovers turned into 28 points. That was the difference in those 2 games.
Well, we're gonna see what they're gonna do this week, man, because all eyes are gonna be on Kevin Patullo.
Blitz pickup, coach. Blitz pickup, I hope.
Yeah, get them hot.
The one thing I will say is the blitz pickup has been better. It was especially better in the second half. In the second half against the Rams.
It's been hit or miss.
That Rams game, it was some misses, man.
It's been hit or
Saquon
miss.
missed a couple.
The only problem is when they missed, that can be expensive. So we gotta shore that up. But that was just I watched that play. I understand why Saquon did what he did because that cornerback came in a little bit late. He didn't see him.
Not just that. What's his name? Pryor got beat so bad, so quick.
Bad to the outside. So bad to the outside. He went to try to help him out and left that inside lane wide ass open, and Jalen Hurts got smacked in the chops.
Yeah, so, the Saquon, and that's why I kind of cut Saquon a break because it was a delay. It was a delayed blitz, and the first color he saw. Well, you're a running back, so I understand. I understand why you don't
step in there because you know what? Because he ended up doing it later on in the game.
But now that one, he got the signal from Steen. Steen slapped his inside hip and told him take the inside.
Exactly, that's what he's supposed to do.
So he actually got the signal on that one. The first one,
even if you don't get the signal, that's a golden rule. Playing running back,
and that's fair. And that's fair. That's fair. Like I said, the only reason I gave him kind of a break is because the dude it was a delayed blitz, and the first color he saw was his right tackle getting beat like a drum. So he just went to help him. And then the delay came, and McCullough had him a free shot, and Jalen was just standing there looking so
I look at that the same way that Chris Jones lost that game for Kansas City. He tried to play hero ball, blitz inside, thought he had to be to the quarterback, and Justin Herbert ran right around him and burned him, and ended up costing him the game.
Sure did. It was one of them times where Chris Jones. Yeah, Chris Jones didn't do his job, man. He forgot he was in his 30s.
Do your job. Well, fellas, I'm gonna get up out of here, man.
Good yes, sir, coach.
Yeah, appreciate you letting us on.
Absolutely, man. We're gonna do this. I'm trying to I'm putting out my stuff on social media. Before I get up out of here, as usual, make sure y'all hit the subscribe and the like button. But like I'm gonna be doing like late night. What am I doing? Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That's what it's gonna be. Monday,
Oh,
Wednesday,
bet,
and
bet,
Thursday.
bet,
Because Tuesday
bet,
I
bet.
got my show with Tone, and then Sunday game day, me and Tone go at 10 a.m. So I'm gonna get out I'm gonna create a graphic with the schedule on it going forward. So I'm trying to get Chris. You got to help me out, man. I'm trying to get some more people from the West Coast. That's the reason I'm going late.
Got you. I'm gonna spread the word to everybody to subscribe, like,
I'm in, I'm in,
your
I'm
channel.
in Texas.
Okay,
You on
you got it.
Instagram, Coach?
So you a time zone away. So you know, I always get started at 10:30. It's 9:30 your time. So yeah,
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
trying to
yeah.
do it, man.
Gotcha.
Trying to grow. I should be at 8,000 by the end of the weekend, but
You got an
we
Instagram,
still moving
Coach,
the
or you
shit.
got the other social
Yeah,
media,
yeah.
right?
I'm gonna definitely spread this around to other Eagles fans I know, so they could come jump in too. This is good conversation, and it's
Absolutely.
good because you get inside track for somebody that actually played the sport, that's been on the field, that know what they looking at and what they talking about.
I'm trying to find a way where we can actually watch tape, but the NFL, I've been noticing NFL is like really, really cracking down on using
Oh,
footage.
people that yeah, they've been pulling people video for putting them all 22s on their
Yeah,
video.
I even did an all 22 and I chopped it up. Like I did a whole bunch of stuff to it and they still flagged it. Because the fair use rule is as long as if you just not playing the video, you got to do something with it. That's why some guys will, like what I've been doing is I got a situation in my OBS where I can telestrate on the thing. So I figured that out and I got to start using that because what I can do is I can do all the stuff in the drawings and all of that kind of stuff and the arrows and I can do all of that stuff. So I'm looking into that. So maybe we can start watching tape. I might start doing like membership only stuff too. So I got plans. Got some big things. I got some more. Finally got my emotes together. So I'm finishing putting the touches on all of that. So for the stream on Saturday, you'll be able to see let me see. You'll be able to see stuff like this.
That's
So
nice.
working on that. Then you had the Go Birds. Some of them will have audio too. Some of them won't. Like I'm gonna make one so when people like if I get a super chat, it'll play an animation like a money sign or something silly. So just doing more stuff, more graphics and stuff like that to make it live, man. So I'm working on it, man. I'm working on it. So, but all right, fellas, I'm gonna get up out of here. Y'all have a good night.
You too.
You too, Coach. Appreciate it.
I'm not gonna be doing anything tomorrow because I know Friday everybody out and about. So I'll be posting regular content tomorrow. Plus, I'll be watching the WNBA game. So
You be
my
back
content
Saturday
will be
for the
there.
college stuff?
Yeah, I'll be having some college stuff on. And then of
Gotcha.
course me and Tone get together. It'll be 10 o'clock on Sunday because it's a 1 o'clock game. So
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
but,
yeah, yeah.
keep
I
checking the
always
Twitter.
tune in for the pregame stream.
Keep checking the Twitter feed, man. I gotta get better at getting my schedule out there. So we'll do that. So
Gotcha.
but all right, fellas, I appreciate
That's a
you.
bet
All right.
for sure, Coach. 100.
Let's see. Yep. We got some stuff going on, but WNBA tomorrow, and then I'll just be kicking out regular content, videos, and I'm sure hopefully don't nobody else go on IR for the Eagles. You know how that goes. So, but I'm gonna have to get up out of here, man. Y'all have a good night. If I don't talk to y'all tomorrow, please enjoy your weekend and be safe. And we will see you then. All right then. Go Birds.
Get ready for the show, it's about to begin. Pro fan talk when we dive right in. Sports talk, hot takes, ain't nothing we lack. We the real fans, nothing holding us back. Mic check, 1, 2, y'all know the drill. We bringing the energy, we keep it real. From touchdowns on liquid air on the slam dunks on the court. Every sport, every game, we holding down the fort. We breaking down the plays, dissecting the stats. Pro fan talk, we keeping it fat. Debating with passion, no filter, no doubt. We the voice of the